Hey there, and welcome to Retirement Reimagined. I'm Tiffany Neary, Senior Living Specialist, and this is the podcast where we flip the script on senior living. Whether you're a retiree ready to take on a new adventure or just curious about how to make the most of your golden years, you're in the right place. Join me and our amazing expert guests as we dive into everything from hitting the road in an RV, getting your financial ducks in a row, exploring the perks of a reverse mortgage, or just figuring out how to link that smartphone to your car. We're here to inspire, inform, and give you practical tips to live your best retired life. So buckle up, tune in, and let's reimagine what retirement can truly be. Hey everyone, welcome. I have a special guest today, Diane Knepper. She has a lot of senior designations. She's been in the space for quite some time. I'm going to let her tell us about her business, her family, and where she's located, and maybe a couple little key points to why she got into this business.
Okay, well, let's see. I have a broker's license. I am a broker owner, along with my husband, of KHT Realty, Inc., and an SRES designation, as you mentioned. We work in Tuolumne County, Calaveras County, and also parts of the San Diego area. Our son, Jordan, also has a real estate license, and he's down in San Diego as well. So he works with us as well. I got into real estate, funny story, because my best friend was wanting to get her real estate license, and she thought it would be really cool if I got mine, and then we could do it together. I have mine and have gotten my broker's license, and she ended up going off and pursuing other things.
So she's not even in the business anymore.
She's not even in the business, no. But, you know, what we wanted was to do it together as besties. But now I have my other bestie doing it with me because my hubby got his license 3 weeks after I got mine. And I'm always joking and telling people you should really feel sorry for that man because 24/7, he works with me, lives with me, all of it. So
yes, they all need badges, don't they? My husband and I work together.
He does deserve a badge.
Well, what did you do prior to real estate? What's your background?
I was in event management for some very large hotels down in San Diego. I was senior convention services manager at Harris SoCal before leaving and getting my real estate license. And prior to that, I was part of the very large event management team as a senior, I forget what the actual title was, senior event specialist is what it was. Senior event specialist at the San Diego Marriott Marquis and Marina.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I bet there was some fun events.
Always, yes. Always a lot of fun, but always very busy. Lots of stress.
You had a lot of relationships there, and real estate is absolutely a relationship business. So that just really led you into this business because we have strong relationships with our clients sometimes, and specifically in the senior world, because we need to listen to their needs because it might not be a traditional need. So that's why we get these designations. That's why we learn more. When you got your SRES, your senior designation, how did that open doors for you?
It did, but I got it because so many of my clients were 55 and up. But also my mother just turned 90 this year.
Woo!
And it's very important to me to help my mom and dad as they're progressing and be there for them in any way that I can. For them, that means they want to age in place. So whatever changes need to be made to the home to allow them to do that, that's what we're working with.
And that almost is a whole different podcast on your story of how you started the conversation Number one, some family members don't talk about finances. Some don't talk about the future. Some don't talk about wills and trusts and things like that. But you have parents that are in their 90s and they have told you, I want to age in place. So there is so much for you as the go-to kid, we want to call them, of what you need to do. We can dive into that if you'd like.
Yeah, for me, that's been a really big thing. Their home is multi-level.
Oof.
And he turned 86 this year. She turned 90. And he is her primary caregiver.
Oh.
So whatever makes it easiest for both of them. For my mom and her loving her home so much, that meant putting in one of those chairs so that she can navigate up and down the stairs when she needs to. And then they basically do that only a few times a day. She gets ready in the morning. She goes on her chair upstairs, and then they're up there most of the day. And then in the evening, she goes back down the stairs. So as few trips up and down the stairs on the chair as possible, but still those things make a difference. Having the right shower, making sure that clothes and things in the closet are where she can reach them. All of these things yes, all of these things make a big difference and an impact. Because I want them to be able to stay in the home that they love so much for as long as they possibly can and be together. But I also want there to be a quality of life there as well. So.
Yes. And again, that's a conversation and financial situation sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as if they were prepared to be doing these upgrades to the home, widening doorways, making a new shower, restroom, making it safe.
So these are things that several of my clients talk about with me as they're buying homes that they're envisioning being where they want to retire. Is there a bedroom? If it is a multi-level home, is there a bedroom on the main level? Where is that primary bedroom? Where is the bathroom? Is there a shower big enough? Is it a walk-in shower, or do modifications need to be made? We just went through this with some of my clients last year. They bought what they anticipate will be their forever home through retirement. And they made sure that it was a single level home. And then this year they remodeled the bathrooms so that they would both be workable as they age and they need to use them. And those things make a difference. Even the drawers in your kitchen, people don't think about that, but are they soft open? Do they close on their own?
Yes. Are they very hard to pull out? Can you get your hand in them? If you had arthritis or something.
Yes. As your hands age, maybe you should think about putting a faucet in the sink that is motion activated rather than something that you have to turn or grab in an odd way. There's a lot of little things that you can do. And as this progresses with my parents, I'm finding so many different things that would be a great idea for them.
Good. Now, being as your dad is the main caregiver, do you have anybody coming in randomly to tidy up, do laundry for them, little things?
There's a housekeeper that comes in once a week and cleans for them, but she does not do grocery shopping anymore, but she likes to go with dad. So he drives and she sits in the car. They do pretty much everything on their own. They're not going to vacuum. So they have the housekeeper, but it's also just the two of them. Mm-hmm. They're not really messy. Our oldest son currently lives about a mile away.
Oh, that's nice.
So
that's very nice.
He goes and plays cards with them once a week and has lunch with them just so that he's checking in on them, which of course they love. But, it's nice to be able to have those things in place. Certainly, if the housekeeper noticed there was anything that needed to be addressed, then she would let us know. But they're really remarkably still doing quite well on their own.
That is a fantastic story update situation for them, because, it could be very different.
Yes.
And
But I think too, I've sort of started learning more over the last couple of years about that whole concept of the Blue Zones
yes,
project.
Mhm.
You familiar with that?
I am.
So one of those things that it talks about is quite often aging in place and having that sense of family and community makes a big difference. So I'm really grateful that we don't live that far away and are able to pop down frequently, but we also have children down there that can pop in and take a look and see how they're doing. And they have their independence, which is important to me because it's important to them. And if they don't have it, then I'm afraid that it will start to decline. You know what I mean?
Yes. So they're making today we're going to go to the grocery store. Today we've got doctor appointments. Today we've got our grandson coming over to play cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they've got these activities that they're doing still.
Yes. And they have friends that are relatively close to their age. So I know that on Mondays, for example, they always go out to lunch with the same friend, and dad still drives, but she and mom don't. So he takes mom to go pick her up, and then they go out to lunch once a week, and they let her pick which restaurant they're going to go to. And then every day they have their set planned schedule, and then they throw in their doctor's appointments or whatever. But he still takes mom to get a manicure and her hair done every week. And
hallelujah. She feels fresh and still girly. That is huge.
Mhm.
That's great. I mean, they're in the best of a situation right now.
Yes, they are.
Aging in place. Really cool. I love these stories. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, like I mentioned, the go-to kids, which is me, you, my parents are in their 70s, still extremely active, but I'm already planning. I already know my dad lives in a tri-level with wood stairs, very slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already ordering the pieces of material, the carpet, that goes over the wood. And he's like, well, it's going to ruin my wood. I said, well, I would rather it ruin your wood than your hip.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're not going to make him and totally ruin your wood. But, these little things that they come up with, don't ruin my house just for me. He has no intention of leaving for the next maybe 5 years.
Which makes a difference. Yeah.
Yes. So we did talk about it. And fortunately, the house that I just moved into has a very large lot, and we're going to build an ADU. And most likely it's going to be for him or maybe another family member, depending on what, if they want to stay in California or go to Arizona, whatever it might be. But there will be somewhere for one of our parents to go to. So we've already got the plan in motion about my mom's in Arizona, who's going to come in and make sure that the air conditioning is on. Like sometimes our seniors will sit in an 83-degree home.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to worry about that because they're in Arizona and it gets 120 outside.
Yeah.
So I have to be conscious of things like that we may not be conscious of in California or somewhere by the coast. So you just don't know until you're in it, or you listen to a podcast and you learn about it. So many things that the go-to kids need to be aware of prior to it happening. Otherwise, we're in panic mode, we're in rush mode, we're trying to maybe get some contractors into the home to modify it, and it's just a pain in the rear end, and you're disrupting the senior space, which is not good if they have dementia, Alzheimer's. Anything cognitive is going to be very disruptive if you bring other people into the home.
Well, all of that is disruptive when you're not their age.
This is true.
I mean, it's all when you, if you want to remodel your kitchen or your bathroom and you're not at that time in life that they're at yet, right? It's disruptive. It's just that much more uncomfortable for them because of their age.
Yes.
And for some people, it may not make sense to try and age in place. So having that plan ahead of time okay, the plan is we're going to age in place. But plan B is this, if that's not possible, and helping them navigate that so that it's smoother for everybody and less stressful, and you can be there for them in the best possible way rather than having it be a last minute thing where everybody is scrambling, right?
Yeah, so we absolutely agree that starting to talk about this, even if there's no cognitive decline, physical decline, anything, there needs to be a conversation. And there are books, there are podcasts, there are people to help you navigate this conversation, by the way. There are move managers, there are aging in place specialists. There are people you can reach out to, which I will have as guests on my podcast soon, if not already, that you can call, hire, and they will have these conversations with the family as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And they will lead you down the right path, because sometimes you may choose a path that has financial repercussions, living repercussions, things you would not think about if you weren't already in this business or this scenario. Mm-hmm. So again, if you are in this scenario and you're listening to this podcast, please reach out. Chances are I'll have some contacts on here. You can click through. You can call Diane. She will have people that help you if you're in her area that will help you with this. You do not have to do this alone. You've had a very calm experience, it sounds like. Mostly because I think when you have some cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that, it's very difficult. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to deal with that particular parent. And the caregiver, it's very tough if it's a family member, because that's draining to that family member. Draining.
It changes the dynamic there, right? Between parent and child.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's hard on everybody. Thankfully, both of my parents are my mom is just now starting to have some little memory things, but she's very sharp. She'll beat you at cards and she'll tease you about it too. She's very sharp, but every once in a while she'll ask you a question, and then maybe a couple of minutes later she'll ask you the same question again. And she's better in the morning and the afternoon than she is in the evening about it, because she's more fresh on the day, but she's still very sharp. So I've been very lucky, but I do have friends and clients that have not had that same experience. So it's important to have a support system there and a plan in place. And you should know about how you can modify things or what types of options there are for living as you get older or your parents get older, and what there is as far as help financially. Equity in a home is a big bonus. It's a plus.
Yes.
It still has to be managed properly.
Absolutely. And I advise people all the time on their options for doing a reverse mortgage once you hit 62. And it's not for everybody, but it is sure darn helpful, so that family members they're not footing the bill for all of these expenses that must go into the home. Why would you do that to your own family when the equity is sitting right there to tap into? A reverse mortgage can give you lump sum monthly money, a line of credit to tap in later in case you are still very young and active, but you want to age in place. That bathroom's going to need a renovation. Okay, let's set aside a line of credit that we're going to use later. I'm not going to go into all the really cool options with a reverse mortgage, but anybody can obviously click on the link that we're going to have, and we can go into detail about how to tap into your equity to get these repairs done so that you can age in place, you can get the work done. Your family is not taking responsibility for all of these financial obligations. You might need long-term care. People think that Medicare gives you in-home care. It doesn't. They're not going to come and take care of you. And if you have family members that live far away, maybe we want to help them buy a house closer to you, or you buy a house closer to them. Possibilities are endless.
Did you know that is the number one reason that people move, is to be closer to family?
Yes. because I help them do a reverse for purchase.
But it's not just older people, it's younger people too. Maybe they've just gotten married and they're having children and they want to be closer to family for support. So across the board, whether you're a senior or you're younger, the number one reason that people move is to be closer to family.
And sometimes they think they can't afford the area. For instance, moving, let's say you're moving, I live in Corona, California. Let's say you're moving from Corona to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going to get a rude awakening when you try to buy a cute little condo in San Diego.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, moving closer to family is a big deal. And a lot of our homeowners don't know that there is an opportunity for them to use a reverse for purchase to move closer to family. Specifically, let's say they think it's out of reach as far as price.
Yeah.
Talk to someone like me, talk about the reverse for purchase. Chances are it will work. If you've been in your house a long time and you have quite a bit of equity, it's the coolest thing ever, getting somebody in the area they want to be in that they never thought they could move to.
Absolutely. We just had a client 2-3 years ago. She needed to move home from Texas so she could be near her children and her grandchildren. And she didn't think she could afford to move back to California, but we were able to make it work for her. And same thing that we talked about, single level home. So everything was accessible for her. Flat entrance, no steps in from the garage. And then her kids went through, once the purchase was final, they enlarged the bathroom. They put the faucet in and made all these little changes to it to make it just that much better for her. And it makes a difference.
It does make a difference, specifically if they can live where anybody, I would want to live where I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to be around family. I have no intention of
Absolutely.
leaving California until my family decides that they're leaving California.
Yeah. And I stop by every once in a while just to say hello to her and check in. And she's always got family there and great grandchildren there. And it's so great to see the smile on her face and what a difference that made, because we were able to make that work for her so she could be near family.
One of the questions I was going to ask is how you help clients navigate the transition from buying a home in a retirement community, single story, that sort of thing when they're transitioning, or if they need to sell their house and transition to maybe a community, an active community, depending upon where they are in their life. It's some of these communities are really quite amazing, quite beautiful, and they've got so many activities. So
they are. We have some great ones up here in Tuolumne County. So many activities and just a really nice community center for everybody to go have their activities in. It just makes such a big difference because, again, remembering that Blue Zones thing, that sense of community for them is huge. It definitely makes a difference. But there are things to be aware of too when you're selecting that community to move into or to help your parents move into. Are there extra fees? Is there, some of these communities, they're manufactured homes and you wouldn't know that by looking at them, but they are. And then that also involves space rental. And so it's important to have somebody there to help you navigate who's familiar with these communities and what's available and can help you work with what your specific needs are.
Yes, and you help your clients do that. You'll go and interview the community before they even get there. You'll introduce yourself. You'll have a liaison that is your go-to person. So having a real estate agent or a move manager is huge when you're right-sizing to a different community or a different city. You want someone that understands your market.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I've got all these questions, but in our conversation, we've answered almost all of them. The resources that you provide to your clients is obviously your knowledge that you have taken the time to learn and hands-on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's more than just me. I have a great team of people to work with. So like you mentioned, right sizing. just my husband and I in the home that we've lived in for 5 years now. We were just talking the other day. It's amazing how much stuff you bring into your home and you don't realize it, right? But then when it's time to downsize or there's a need to move somewhere to a retirement community or long-term care or something, there's all that stuff that you've accumulated in your house over a long period of time. And you're going to need help going through that, having an estate sale, getting, what do you keep? What can you keep? Where you're going? What do you need to get rid of? And having somebody who knows the value of those items as well, so that as you're having that estate sale, you're not selling something off for $5 or $10 that should have been $200 or $300, right? It all makes a difference who you have on your team. Do you have a handyman or a contractor that can go in and make the changes to the home so they can stay there longer? Do you have a great lender who's experienced with reverse mortgages? So you have that, all of that team being in place makes a huge difference.
Yes. And of course, you mentioned stuff, and stuff is a big deal to people regardless of age. Stuff is important and it's very emotional. So I have a team, you have a team of people that are trained to help people deal with stuff. What's important? What brings you joy? It all goes back to, okay, we can only have a certain amount of stuff. And a lot of people, it's very interesting. There's a whole movement right now where, like, even my mom, she's getting rid of stuff before it's even time. She's like, I don't want you guys to do this. So I'm getting rid of stuff. Like, their garage is clean because they got rid of the stuff.
Even me, I'm getting rid of stuff. My son called me the other day. He's like, Mom, is everything okay? I'm noticing you've put a lot of stuff up for sale on the marketplace. What's going on? Like, I just need to not have so much stuff.
Yes. I moved and I have empty drawers in the house and I have no intention of putting stuff in there.
Amazing, isn't it? Just knowing that you have that little bit of extra space. But yes. For my mom, we talk about that, and you were talking about how things are emotional. I remember as a very little girl, my mom having this encyclopedia set. And of course, back then they were
very expensive
deal to have them. But I'm going to be 55 in 2 days, and my mom just turned 90, and she still got that same set of encyclopedias. And heaven forbid you should mention to her that you think she should get rid of it, that it's obsolete, because for her, that was a very big deal to be able to afford that and have it for us kids when we were younger. So those things, like, okay, maybe the encyclopedias go, but do we really need 30 years worth of church magazines that you still hold on to? Let's get rid of something, but keeping the things that are the most important to you and have the most meaning. Also, you mentioned not wanting your children to have to do certain things. Maybe start now. I told Mom last year when she was 89, maybe start now and let's get different color dots. Put dots on the bottoms of things. So this color dot means you think this child, it would have meaning to them. That color dot means it goes to, there's still 6 of us living. You don't want whoever is going, which is going to end up being myself and my oldest brother, to have to argue with people about make those decisions now so that there's not arguing. Because too often you see that when people...
it'll mess it up. Yeah. The conference I just went to, this woman, she is a beautiful soul. And she brought up giving things away with warm hands instead of cold hands. So while you're here on this beautiful earth and you've got your warm hands of giving, give these items to the person that you think wants them. Absolutely. So you can bring joy to them while you can see that with warm hands.
Absolutely. Huge
it's cold hands. You're gone.
Yeah.
You don't see the joy that gift brought that person. So this Absolutely. Is huge to me in don't keep the stuff. If you already know that someone wants it and
Yep.
you're still here, give it to them to see the joy on their face.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it will bring a different kind of joy.
It will. It gives you the joy of seeing how happy they are to receive it. And it gives them joy in knowing that you thought of them and gave that item specifically to them.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you could even have a gift party. Come on over, family. We're having a stuff party. We're getting some stuff. And I think that would be fantastic. And then you can take pictures with mom and whomever got the gift, and then the gift itself. Oh my gosh, how cool would that be?
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned warm hand, cold hand, and gosh, that just blew me away. Okay. I think you also, I don't want to miss this. You mentioned TCB. Is that, I don't know what that means. No? Promotion of any kind? Did you want to?
I'm drawing a blank here.
That's okay. Maybe it was an initial, maybe it was, because we ask if there's anything you want to promote. Some of our clients have written books. Some of them are in a different type of designation or a different type of senior mode. So that's okay.
The only thing that comes to mind, still not the right acronym, but I am currently the past president of the Tuolumne or the Twain Harte Area Chamber of Commerce. Sorry. So I'm very active in that way, but.
Yeah, no, I love our chamber. Our chamber is active. I'm busy all the time with them. It's great.
Small businesses are such, I mean, you're a business owner and I'm a business owner, and they're so important, especially in communities like ours it's a very rural community. And a lot of seniors, a lot of retired people, and it just makes such a difference to be able to involve them in things with the chamber, again, because it gives such a sense of community. So we have a board member that is 80. I want to get it right. I don't want to make him older than he is. I think he just turned 83. We have a couple that are in their 70s, and they are such an important part of our chamber and our community. Just love having them around, just to even not chamber related stuff, just to sit and have a glass of wine with or a cup of coffee with, and they're just amazing people. So
yes, I agree. Okay, so to wrap up, how do you balance the emotional and practical aspects of real estate and our senior community? It can be difficult sometimes.
It can. I have a client that just lost her dog 2 days ago. He was just a few days short of his 13th birthday, and she's on her own now. I helped her downsize, and your heart just breaks a little bit because that was her companion. She went everywhere with that dog. Sometimes she wouldn't even go somewhere because she wanted to be able to stay with her dog. So it does get very emotional. But for me, my clients become friends and family. So I'm always in contact with them. They stay. They become additional grandparents for my grandbabies. Not a senior related thing, but we sold a house to a couple that was pregnant with their first baby. And earlier this year, they had their second baby, and we had their oldest for a few nights so that they could go be in the hospital. We keep you're stuck with us kind of people. So it does get hard to manage because you take a personal vested interest in making sure that they have what they need to age in place for seniors, or making sure they have that sense of community, and you're stopping by or you're meeting up with them to go have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or whatever it might be. So it can be a difficult thing to balance, but it makes it easier knowing that they love you just as much as you love them.
Beautiful. Thank you. So in wrapping up our talk today, how can people reach you?
You can find me on social media KHT Realty Inc. And there you'll find Tim and I are always doing dumb little videos together. So you can find us there. You can find us on our website. It's khtrealty.com. My telephone number is 209-768-6572. And I'll always try and answer right away. But if I'm with a client, probably better to text. I'm around. I'm out in public. I'm there with the chamber at the summer concerts here in Twain Harte. We're there every Saturday. Just give me a shout. I'll be happy to help, whatever you need.
And we'll have those links for you in this podcast as well. You can click on them and get a hold of Diane and her family, and they will help you. You can tell they'll help you. You can tell that Diane and her family have a heart for everyone that they encounter, but you would be in good hands to contact her if that's an area that you want to explore. Thank you so much for taking the time, Diane.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Yes, and we'll be wrapping up. So thanks for listening, you guys, and subscribe to Retirement Reimagined. Thanks for tuning in to Retirement Reimagined. I hope today's episode gave you some great tips to elevate your retirement. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found our discussion helpful, please leave a review. It helps others find the podcast too. Curious about how to unlock new financial opportunities in retirement? I'd love to chat and explore how we can make your golden years even brighter. Until next time, I'm Tiffany Neary. Keep reimagining.